Okay, so the selections that have been made by the groups are for Group A, who's made up of Akila, Anthony, Alyssa, Clark, Mahindra, Hainarayan, and Nyla Modest. They are going to be selecting from the United Kingdom or the UK, Australia, and United States. Group 3, which is made up of Mr. Hanaway, Mr. Reyes, and Miss Williams. They have already made a final decision of Barbados. They will have to defend that with Miss Williams when she arrives in class. She did message me to say she couldn't make it today because of work. And so she's going to be looking at this video, and you all will have to um, explain why you reached there. Group C is making a choice between China, Sweden, and Norway. That's between, and Miss Duki isn't here right now, so you all have to kind of message her and let her know what's happening. I don't know if she's been able to add herself to the e-classroom yet, so you can message her and find out. All right, Angelina and Miss Rollins. And Group D, who's made up of Ria, Paulina, and Natalia, they're looking at France, India, and Jamaica. Um, you shouldn't be too worried about the language barriers, because I mean, India is Hindustani and France is French and Jamaica is English, but we'll see how it goes. Um, so what I'd expect you guys to do in next would be, for those of you who haven't yet made a final decision, you'll need to do some basic research, see how easy it is to find the data and the information. Now, what I can say about the UK is the UK is kind of complicated because the UK is made up of a number of different countries that make up the United Kingdom. So you might want to limit the UK when you're looking at them at looking at just Britain alone, not the rest of the UK, which would include Scotland, part of Ireland, Northern Ireland, Wales, and all that kind of stuff. Australia is relatively straightforward. They only have that one major island state. And of course, the United States being one of, this still is the largest economy in the world, is always a place of interest to look at. But and finding data from them for any three of these countries would not be a problem. Barbados is also not a problem. China, Sweden, Norway. China is a bit overdone. Sweden and Norway I've seen recently, but they're all interesting. Information for them will also be fairly easy to get. France, India, and Jamaica, again, their information is readily available. However, you may have some issues with language barriers with France and India, though the way in which Google works now, you can do translations quite easily, so you shouldn't have to worry too much about that. And most of the companies and government there tend to put out bilingual information because they know they're dealing with um, larger groups altogether, English-speaking countries. So it shouldn't be too much of an issue. But I would say, spend some time doing some research and seeing how problematic the issues would be. Barbados, I know the information is available, but still spend some time looking at the type of questions that you have to answer for that question. Did I put that here? No. All right, well, it'll be in your course outline. So you want to look at the questions and kind of assess, how easy or difficult it would be to find the responses that you need to answer these questions. All right, stimulation of growth, impact of the coronavirus. Those things should be easily, the data is easiest because you're actually going to this website here. Let me see if I can all right. So let's say you're going to look at, let's say we want to look at Argentina, right? So we want to look at, weird thing, this thing is going all in the corner here. We want to look at available data. sorry, so we do it here, add a country, add a series. So we need to look for the data. For example, we want to look for, well, let's say GDP. So you have to make a decision of what GDP. So GDP constant prices 22. So you all need to understand what this stuff means, right? We want the growth rate. You can also look at GDP per capita. And the time frame you want to look at it will be the next thing that you need to choose, which is time would be the last. In your cases, you want the last 10 years. You may, as you can see, you may not get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go back a few years, apply changes, and it'll start to load the data here for you. So what does it mean when we see GDP in constant 2015 US prices? So you'd see some very kind of ridiculous figures here. And this is for the country Argentina, all right? And it goes from 2013 to 2021. And what it'll try to do is try to give you as much information as it has. So it may not be able to produce all the data because some years may not be available. So fortunately, you have for 2020. So what you can look at the percentage annual growth rate is going back here. It starts at 8.89% annually. That's massive growth rate. Then between 2013 and 2014, it became negative at 0.2. The following year, it went back up to 2.7. Then the next year, it went down. So you could start to observe a pattern here. You could create a chart with it, and it's right there available for you. Although you can, so you see how the information is kind of set. This here is the GDP per capita, and you can see it's really just kind of staying very stable. This here is the GDP for in constant value, meaning they valued their GDP, their gross national product, gross domestic product, at 2015 prices, US prices. And so you can see a trend here. It kind of leveled off, then it fell here in 2015, and then 2020, and then went back up. So 2020, the kind of reductions between 2019, 20 can probably be explained from let's see, where's the growth rate? This one is not seeing the growth rate at all. Where is that? All right, so we should be able to remove a series. Let's remove something here from it. You all understanding what I'm doing? I'm looking for particular types of information, and I'm adding it or removing it. So let me take out this per capita and see if the GDP percentage growth rate clear selection, okay, and put this in that and that alone, okay, and that should allow me to enter that. Okay, apply changes. Just a little time to get yourself come on, apply a change. Oh, I had to put a country. Well, let's try Afghanistan, see what they're doing. Okay, so it's Afghanistan. Time, Apply changes, okay. Look at that. So this is the percentage growth rate. This might be problematic in the sense that it's not giving us any sort of variations. So putting the GDP and the growth rate on the same chart is kind of senseless because you're not going to be able to see the percentage change because of how small the figures are in relation to the figures above, which are in millions, is it, or billions, or trillions, or something like that. Unbelievably, Afghanistan is that kind of stuff. Styles, layout. So y'all can look at things and kind of work with the material or work with the stuff that's going on with it. So, all right. So the idea is that the information that you're looking at is, so this is the area here that I kind of put in. All right. Some of these figures will be kind of senseless to be looking at because they're so large that we can't really get a sense of development out of them. All right. So, and then of course you can download the information. Now, one of the things I always tell people to do is sometimes just go to the table, grab the data, bring it across, and then utilize it for utilize it for in Excel, and then you can generate your own tables that you can get some you can get a little more clarity out of it. All right. So you're following how to use this resource, and the same thing here. The same resource is used to get the data for the other questions, which is import and export data and that kind of stuff. All right. All right. Any questions about this stuff? No? All right. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording now because this second one is just to kind of bring on to thing. Unless there are any particular questions people want to ask that might be important to listen to. No, everybody's okay? You guys hearing me? Everybody's okay right now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Okay, so let me pause the recording.